Good morning. Thank you guys all for coming out today. I want to thank Senate Press Carenza for putting this all together and helping us out. I'd be certainly remiss if I didn't thank our LCO and Public Safety, Katrina Stratton, and her team in helping us put this together. So what this is about is over this session so far, we've had in excess of 20 different bills that were introduced in 4 or 5 different committees. And so after our mega public hearing where we were asking folks to come in and testify through all 4 of those committees, we all collectively got down and went to a room, and we decided to frame what we were referring to in this bill as the architecture for a solution. So each of us will come up and sort of give a little piece of this, but the idea was to put the architecture together where we would develop a pool of funds from a bunch of associated different sections, if you will, and then talk to the COG from an administrative perspective and see if they could administer this program. And then the third component is bills where we try to avoid making this happen ever again. And so we've done this in a bipartisan fashion. We've actually worked very hard as well with Nancy Wyman's office, Governor Wyman's office, and we are going to continue the discussion. So I'll just run through in a nutshell, if you will, what this bill does. It establishes the Crumbling Foundation's Assistance Fund and requires the Capital Region Council of Governments to use these funds to help homeowners from 1 to 4 family homes repair or replace foundations, and distributing grants up to $150,000 or 75%. It authorizes COG to use this assistance fund to establish a low-interest loan program in collaboration with the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority or a bank. Adds an annual $12 surcharge to certain property insurance policies to establish, which must be deposited in the assistance fund. Establishes an oversight committee to review the administration of the CROG program. Allows 2 or more towns to ask the Connecticut Health and Educational Facilities Authority to use bonds on their behalf so they can work to abate the nuisance caused by failing concrete. Offer credit enhancements or loan guarantees, or acquire construction equipment or repair materials collectively. Makes a technical change in the General Municipal Power Statute, authorizes municipalities to waive building permit fees, requires state building inspector to waive the educational fee applicable to building permits if a municipality waives a permit fee, and requires the Department of Housing to establish an interest rate program for owner-occupied 1 to 4 family homes repairing in their concrete. So I'll turn this over to Representative Tim Ackert as well, who's been very instrumental on the program, as everyone else behind me, and some people who frankly couldn't make it. I know that Kelly Luxembourg has been instrumental, as well as Senator Cassano. This is the architecture. This is going to be very flexible. We hope to continue to add funding resources, and we're relying on the Capital Region Council of Governments, who has expertise already in administering large transportation projects and so forth. So we believe that they have been knee-deep and in the forefront of this as well, and give them credit. And rather than spending money on study after study, we'd prefer to give them the charge to take this over and administer it for us. Tim?
Thank you, Tim. And again, it needs to be noted who is here, because every one of these individuals had a say and a piece in what we were doing, whether we're listening to the constituents out there that are going through this horrific issue, to the communities that are heavily impacted because one of the legislations that we did allowed them to go and have their houses revalved, so their grand lists are dropping in these communities. So the work done by this, and Chris Davis, and as mentioned, Kelly Luxembourg and others, and a lot of the committees here, people that aren't even affected by it, are weighing in positively on what this bill can do. Yeah, is there opposition? Sure there is. But I think that's something that we need to collaboratively work on, and to lay that this is needed for Connecticut, not just for the district that we serve. Now, does it go as far as we need to go? Not yet, But as with any framework, and I love how Tim used the term, an architect for framework, and that's what we started with. We're not leaving this session without something to help these individuals by June, 7th of this year, that they can move forward. What I was really happy with was working with CROG and Lyle and their acceptance of kind of overseeing this program and running it for us, because some of the small communities just don't have the staff to do that. So having somebody like CROG step up, the Capital Regional Council of Governments step up and say, we'll help administer this. We're the towns affected by it, so we'd be happy to. So I'm going to pass it on, but we're hoping that you're going to ask some questions. Again, this is a start. As you know, legislation can change every year, and by the way, I probably would imagine that some of this legislation will change before we actually get to vote on it, and hopefully make it better, not water it down. That's something that I think all of us up here will not allow happen. But we do need to move something forward this year and get moving and stop delaying. I think that's one of the things that everybody out there said is, no more tactics for delaying. It's time to take action. Now, one thing I want to add, that this fund is created, but this fund can also, we're looking for additional revenue to come in here, whether it's FEMA money, whether it's Department of Housing money, whatever it may be, we're allowing that fund to get revenue from other areas also, so to help fill the gap as it may be needed. So that's an area that we're not shutting anybody out. If private donors want to come up and step up, or the insurance company, whoever it may be, this it's got an open top for depositing in. So in this box. So I'd like to turn it over to Senator Guglielmo. He's been again, like everybody up here, whether it's Tom or Kurt, the whole crew, Mike Winkler, he's here. So
I'll be real brief. I think the main thing about it is that we come together. We've got people from other parts of the state that understand the problem. So whether you love this bill or you don't love this bill, it's a start. As Tim had said, both Tims, Tim Ackert and Tim Larson. So it's a start. We're making a move. We're making a positive step. We have people in the Public Safety Committee the other day. The vote was 19-6. Now there were some of us that come out, real optimists. We were hoping for unanimous, but that didn't happen. But the thing that was good about it, we had people from Stanford, from New Haven, who voted with us. So they get it. There were some that didn't, and somebody on the elevator, a state rep, said to me this morning, we don't love this, giving money toward this. I said, well, you know what? Nobody loves it. It's like what these folks over here, Tim and Linda, have. They did everything right. This is what I tried to explain in the caucus. They didn't do anything wrong here. They didn't go on the cheap, trying to get a cheap foundation deal. They weren't looking for a bargain. They did everything that every one of us has done that built a home at some point in their life. We got a general contractor who was probably local, and he got a foundation person who you never knew. And in this case, apparently the foundation person didn't do anything wrong. At least according to the AG's office, they investigated it for a year. This is a problem that came out of the blue. It's just, it's only happened in Quebec, Canada, and in Ireland. So it's not something that's just a big roadmap here that we can follow. So we're kind of, making this up as we go along and hoping we get it right. So, but I think the main thing that people understand, nobody loves this problem. It's like, it's like if you've really done all the right stuff. You're healthy, you eat right, you exercise, and you get sick. And you say, wow, man, how'd that happen? That's not supposed to happen. That's what these people did. They did everything right, and yet they came up with a problem that is life-changing. They can't retire. You got people who can't move into a retirement home. They can't, if you want some older folks who maybe want to scale down, get rid of their bigger house, go into assisted living because they have to, can't do it. Somebody who wants to retire has to continue to work. And some people are actually out of their homes, physically not able to live there. So it's a huge problem, and I think that the fact that we have so many of us here from all over the state, and the fact that we got the House and the Senate, the fact that we got the executive branch. I've been up here 25 years. I've never seen us come together on an issue like this, so I'm optimistic.
Senator Osten?
Sure. Thank you. So thanks everybody for coming in. from my perspective, this situation has risen to the point where we finally have a framework of a solution. I believe that we need federal dollars in order to complete the solution. It's something that has to happen, and we have the backing of our congressional delegation here. We just need to take advantage of the lines of credit that the state already has, in particular in the Home Act. I would say, again, Section 108 has a $60 million line of credit that the state of Connecticut can access and should access soon, because with the dramatic changes at the federal level, we need to get those dollars secured so we have some real money to fix the problem. I am absolutely thrilled that we are at this point, this early in the game, in this session. And some people will say, well, why couldn't we do it on day one? That's just not what would have happened. We've gotten consensus on this bill. We've got consensus on the issue, and we have consensus on real solutions, and we've brought together all the stakeholders. And I think the most important stakeholder is the person living in the home that is crumbling around them. And that's who we really are here for, is those people who came and testified over the last 2 years in front of Planning and Development and in front of all of the other committees that they've come to. I want to thank them for bringing us the issue. And I want to make a commitment that we are going to fix this problem. It is going to happen this legislative session, and I can't wait to go to one of these homes as they're being reconstructed to see how the family's doing, and that's where we need to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. I'd like to get somebody from the House Democrats. So Jeff Currey, please. I know Mike Winkler's here also, and no finely dressed Representative Currey.
Top of the morning. So I just wanted to thank the chairs of the committees for bringing this forward and really giving us a great framework to be able to go back to our colleagues now and further explain the epidemic that's hit our section of the state. As the senator mentioned, they did have support from folks around Connecticut, but again, we just need to further educate these folks and let them know that we stood before you a couple weeks ago and said that we were going to do everything we could to ensure that homeowners were not going to be forced to pay for their home twice. And that's exactly what we've done as this first step in this piece of legislation. So again, thank you to the committee for bringing this forward, and we'll get this passed this session.
Representative Belsito.
Hi, I'm Sam Belsito from the 53rd District. I've been honored to be on this committee, and it's a tough committee. When I was out going door to door, when I came into a home that had a crumbling foundation, I asked them, and they were literally crying. And I am not going to let them go. There is one thing that's missing from this bill, but I'm sure it will be added, and that is the small corporations that are privately owned, that are in our communities. You may not notice them, but they do have some failing concrete foundations that are going to hurt their business. But overall, it's a start. This is not the finish like everybody else is saying. This is a start. And I think it's a good start, and we do have to get some funds, and hopefully we'll get some federal funds to come in and help us. And I want to thank you all for being here.
Well, this is a good beginning, and I think that's the key takeaway here. This is a beginning, a start of solving the problem, something to build upon, and I hate to use the term a foundation for a solution, but nonetheless, a foundation that won't crumble to find a solution to this problem. Because I can tell you there's nothing more daunting than when I was a mayor before I came up here, going to a person's home, meeting with the family, discussing the issue, and saying, we've got to come up with a solution. And today, we have something to work with, something to move forward, and yes, something that we have to sell to the rest of the House and Senate, because there are folks that throughout the state that don't realize what the problem is and the fact that the problem has consequences for the entire state of Connecticut. This is not just an east of the river issue, it's a state of Connecticut issue. And I look forward to this piece of legislation moving forward. I look forward to it getting passed, and I look forward to it as being a foundation for the future, a foundation to build upon as we go forward. Thank you.
Representative Kut Vail, I represent Stafford and Summers. I just want to be brief. There's a lot of stakeholders in this, and I hope everyone comes forward and continues to work on this. We got it out of committee, but obviously we got a long way to go. Again, selling it to people in other parts of the state is important. See if we can get more people to contribute to the fund would be good. But this is the first legislation I've seen in 2 years where we're actually addressing remediation. It may not be perfect, but at least it's a start in that direction. It would have been nice if we could have done this last year, but the circumstances are how they are, and hopefully we roll up our sleeves, continue to work hard, and get something positive out of the legislature this year before we leave. Thank you.
Yeah, Lyle, Wray, Capital Region Council of Governments. Thank you very much for all the work that's been done behind me. The Capital Region has 38 towns, a big chunk of which have crumbling foundations, 1 million people. And our goal this year, through an ad hoc committee chaired by Steve Werdner from Tolland and Lisa Pellegrini from Summers, was to come up with a framework so homeowners knew what the rules were. You know, if you have a hurricane or a tornado, you know what the rules are in terms of rebuilding. We think it's very important to have a framework. And as Senator Larson said, we're going to be working on this architecture for a while. But at least homeowners will have, we hope, with this passage, a very clear outline of how things happen. I think that's really critical. And I think it's reasonable to expect that every year or two the legislature will come back and adjust this as new circumstances arise, which I think is appropriate. So we have already been negotiating with the administration on bonding proceeds for testing. We know more about concrete foundations than we did 6 months ago, way more, perhaps too much. And we're delighted to try, on the behalf of a majority of our towns in the region, to move this forward. So I think the point that we have is a framework where homeowners who are suffering, calling our towns every day in very emotional circumstances that are unbelievable, can move forward. And I think the critical piece I want to mention to everybody is, as we put funds for fixing this on the table, more people will come forward. In other words, we haven't had the numbers yet, 500 people give or take. When you start putting remedial funds on the table, it's like having a medical test. You know, you can say, go have a complicated medical test, we have no treatment, beat it. Well, it doesn't do you a lot of good, so people wouldn't go for the test. But now I think we're going to have a lot more folks coming forward, and I think we need to prepare for that. So as the Council of Governments, we try to get things done right and fast, and we will be doing our very best to administer whatever you assign to us on behalf of the residents that make up a big chunk of our region. And we want to thank all the legislators behind me for their great work on this. Thank you.
Yeah. So, thank you, Lyle. I just want to add, I can't thank the Capital Regional Council of Governments for their efforts over the last many, many months in presenting ideas that they believe would help in this solution. So that's why, you know, it was an easy pick, I kind of say, to have them step up and administer the program. Dr. Srinivasan, and then after Dr. Srinivasan, Tim will start off by taking questions.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning, and I'm glad to be here. You know, we began this conversation, and as you correctly said, you know, now that we are where we are, we were going to see a lot more people come out say that, gee, we need help, and unfortunately they do. But when we look at the people at the table, the stakeholders that are involved, the conversation that's going to come out of this, I'm hoping that this first step that we're going to begin here, coming out of committee, obviously it's a long process still to go, but something will definitely come out so that we actually respond and to the homeowners, to their concerns, the ongoing concerns, which is our responsibility. What we are facing in the state is well beyond the reach of the individual, of the town and the municipalities. The state and the federal government need to be involved to make sure that we do right by the citizens of our state. Thank you.
If I could just add a couple of quick comments. We got here as well with some great leadership from the Lieutenant Governor, Nancy Wyman. She's been a stalwart for us, as has been the Attorney General, as has been members of the Governor's office as well. So we're all in this together. In fact, 2 days ago, I had a conversation with the Speaker of the House, Joe Arasimowicz, and he wants to, again, get us all around a table and continue to work on this particular solution. You know, we heard a lot of testimony in our public hearing, and I want to make sure that people also understand that if you have cured this problem and you've kept your receipts, we want to make sure that you're part of this solution as well. This isn't just because you did the right thing and this is a new program, you're not eligible. That'll be one of the things that the Capital Region Council of Governments will factor in to this particular problem. Those people who have, you know, remortgaged or refinanced are probably choking to death on these payments and, you know, reestablishing their lives. So, you know, we're committed to helping out in that fashion as well. And we view this program as sort of an ongoing, rolling program until we can sort of flesh people out who have this problem, and we can continue to fund it and fix it. But as many people have said, you know, I don't think people understand the totality of this program and the effect that it has until you start to look at a map or you go out and start to tour property. And I think it would be incumbent upon the Capital Region too, if we could start to schedule some visits to some properties out there so that people could really understand what the magnitude of this program is. It's hard to have an elevator conversation or pitch this to another person who may live in far western Connecticut and frankly doesn't understand why he's paying an extra $12 on his homeowner's property to help out this fund. But this fund, I think, is a great start for us. So